This beautiful model go from posing on runways and fashion shoots to not being able to leave her apartment and scaring her friends with uncontrollable seizures. She says this little deer tick is to blame for an illness so looming that some say it could be the biggest epidemic since AIDS.
I don't think you're sick. I don't think there's anything wrong with you. Everybody's telling you it's in your head. You know it's not in your head.
There's no medicine for someone like you. You're an attractive girl, and obviously you don't feel like you're getting enough attention.
Lyme disease is caused by bacteria, the Borrelia spirochete. It's spiral-shaped, so it can drill through tissue and get into just about any part of the body. The most common form of transmission is through the bite of several species of tick, commonly known as deer ticks.
My concern is that the majority of the patients that I see here in this office, this very office, who come to me because they've been treated for chronic Lyme disease, is that they don't have any evidence of ever having had Lyme disease once. Ever. Not now, not a year ago, not 5 years ago.
Some of the Lyme literate physicians feel that one can diagnose Lyme disease on clinical grounds alone, not necessarily relying on any laboratory data. And then furthermore, long-term antibiotics are the right treatment. That has never been shown in any double-blind controlled randomized trial.
This is not a rare disease. It's thought of as a rare disease, but in fact, there's nothing controversial about the fact that it's the most common vector-borne disease in America today. It is far, far more common and much more dangerous to the average American than West Nile virus is. The Centers for Disease Control reported over 35,000 new cases last year. Yet because the disease is so often overlooked, they admit that the actual number may be up to 12 times higher, making Lyme disease far more prevalent than AIDS.
I think there are hundreds of thousands of people out there who have Lyme disease who have no idea they have Lyme disease. There are doctors out there who aren't looking for it.
He just kept saying, you don't have Lyme.
You don't have Lyme disease.
You don't have Lyme?
He slammed his fist on the table and said, "Don't talk to me about Lyme anymore."
Well, you just saw a clip from the award-winning documentary Under Our Skin, which tackles the great debate on whether chronic Lyme disease really even exists. Now, 25-year-old Stephanie says, yes, it does. And why would I fake such a horrible, debilitating illness? Now, she shared her story lying in bed as she was too weak to even sit in a chair.
Lyme disease has ruined my life, 100%. I was a professional model with one of the top 10 modeling agencies in the world. When I first started getting sick right after a camping trip about 5 years ago, and I had the flu for an entire year. I kept going to the doctors, and they thought I was just crazy. I had constant fatigue. I started having loss of feeling in my right leg. I have extreme arthritis. My ankles, my knees, my hips, those places are on fire. When I'm standing, I feel a lot of the times I'll go into a seizure. It hurts so bad. It's the most painful thing. Every day, my panic attacks start in fear of a seizure. I found out October of 2011 that I had Lyme. I was prescribed doxycycline. That's a medicine that insurance companies say cures Lyme disease. I started having loss of feeling. The loss of feeling progressed all the way up to right under my breast. So currently everything from here down is numb and I can't feel it. I get around with a walker or a wheelchair. I've spent $30,000 in savings that I had, probably $45,000 in debt. 4 months ago, I started a donation page. I've not received any donations this month. I don't know what I'm going to do. My spirit is broken. I don't know how I'm going to keep doing this.
Well, Stephanie, I'm glad you're here. I'm sorry that you're having a difficult time, for sure. Are you faking this disease?
No.
Are you doing all of this for attention because it's your identity, for all the reasons that hypochondriac and histrionic personalities do these kinds of things? Is that why you're doing this?
I was a beautiful model. Why would I fake this?
Why would you do it? People do it because they get a payoff from it. They do it because they get sympathy. They do it because people feel sorry for them. They get attention. Gives them an excuse to not compete in the world. That's the reason people feign illnesses, and they do it every day.
I'm an extremely competitive person. Being trapped in my house every day is horrible. I mean, I had a very successful modeling career. My life was perfect. It was all going in the right direction, and then feels like one day it just crashed.
Well, what do you say to people that question if this disease even exists?
Look at me. Why would I want to be in a wheelchair? Why would I fake that? It's disgusting to look at.
And you gave us this footage, and you wanted us to share this so people understand what really goes on in your life and in your day. So we didn't play this for sensationalistic purposes. You wanted people to know this is your reality.
I want people to see this is what happens when I'm at home. This is my life every day.
Well, 3 weeks ago, Stephanie experienced a seizure while our cameras were actually rolling and shooting her backstory. Take a look.
I had Lyme disease for 4 years and wasn't known. I had the flu for a whole year and I went from doctor to doctor, and they just said I was depressed or making it up in my head. And then this past year, I lost my walking, and I have neuropathy issues. And as you can see, you can't control your body. You can't walk. I have seizures. Never know when they're gonna come. See, that's what happens if I just sit up for too long.
Yeah. It's okay, sweetie.
I can't stand anymore.
Here, yeah, we can do it. We've got
I hate to see it.
Okay, we need it. Let's call my mom. What's it called?
Better?
See, what would you prefer to lay down? What makes you feel more comfortable?
It's laying down.
Laying down,
Hi,
okay.
we need an ambulance. She's having a seizure. They're coming right now, sweetie. You're gonna go to the hospital.
Okay, can you breathe? How is your breathing?
Seizures, anything else?
Seizures, Lyme disease, and Hashimoto disease.
We'll take this with us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the woman calling 911 was a producer at the doctor's show, Debbie Hatterley. Debbie, thanks for being here. You've known Stephanie, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, I asked her some questions that critics would ask up front about, is she making all this up? Is she faking all of this? You know her and I know you. What do you think?
You can't fake that kind of pain. I mean, her whole body is twitching and she's shrieking and crying. It's horrifying. It's very scary and it's horrifying.
So what's going on here? I mean, really, you've got something here that seems to be so debilitating that some people refer to it as an epidemic. The CDC says that it is occurring at alarming rates in particularly certain states. And then there are others who say it doesn't even exist. So what's going on? When we come back, Stephanie says she has taken matters into her own hands to escape the pain. That really worries me, what she's doing. We'll discuss the controversial method, plus Lyme disease hits home, leaving a staffer on our show that I have known for years fighting for her very life. We'll be right back.